What Lonzo thinks is a wide-ranging, free-flowing discussion where I offer my unsolicited views on everything from music, movies, politics, sports, religion, pop culture, you name it. If it's happening, I'm talking about it. My thoughts unsolicited, nobody cares, and you're not supposed to care. All right, and I got two special guests with me. Uh, Chris Meck from Florida. Son, what's the business?
Same old, back again. Third
Good to see.
year.
Good to see you again, man. I appreciate your time. Thanks so much for joining me. And new to the show, I have my homeboy Lance Sibley from. You're in Virginia, right?
That's correct.
Son, what's the business?
That's it, man. Hey, glad to be here.
Right on, man. Thanks so much for joining us.
Okay.
This is our third annual NFL draft recap. And for my listeners out there, of course, you're used to seeing me and Chris talk about the draft and everything. So I'm glad to have Lance joining us as well. And this year's draft was probably one of the strangest drafts in recent memory. It was a draft heavy on surprises, heavy on trading, heavy on defense. Usually in the draft, especially in the first round, is more offense minded than anything. So this was a refreshing twist from previous drafts, and I think a big part of that is the lack of quarterback depth in this year's draft. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go through every pick of the first round, picks 1 through 32. We'll give a brief snapshot opinion on each one of those picks, and we'll go through the entire draft. But the first round is the only round where we will discuss each pick, and we'll just talk about some of the highlights of rounds 2 through 7, and then just kind of wrap it up with a prediction for the upcoming NFL season. So before we get started, Lance, what are your thoughts so far in regards to what you saw this past weekend, man?
Basically, man, I think a lot of those picks were pretty good. I see that it was basically a lot of defense and offense driven as far as backs, cornerbacks, defensive ends. I was kind of surprised that they didn't pick quarterback. I thought that they were going to, pick a lot more quarterbacks than what they did, but it was very different from last year. I can tell you that much. It seemed like it was more like I said before, driven to trying to get some defensive guys, either offensive linemen or defensive linemen, stacked up on these teams, which I think for the most part a lot of them need them based on the scoring from last year, how they were. Especially the Jaguars. Shoot, the Jaguars, they need as much help as they can get. But right. I mean, as we go through it, I'll go in depth on my opinion.
Okay, real good. Chris, same question.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. It's a little different than we've been normally getting. We didn't even have an offensive skill player go to 8. A lot of just in the trenches stuff. A lot of holes got filled. And I guess a lot of people would say it was boring, but I mean, I really don't think it was. Not many teams. Maybe 1 or 2 teams had a bad draft, but everyone got something they need, and a lot of these players are probably be around for a long time.
Yeah. I guess the term that people are probably using is this draft wasn't real sexy. It was more meat and potatoes.
Right.
Yeah.
And but that's definitely not a bad thing. Once again, we'll definitely dig deeper into it. But before I go any further, I need to get the elephant out of the room. Is it the elephant or the gorilla?
The elephant.
I got to get the elephant out of the room. Okay,
Right.
all right. So as we well know, there was only one quarterback taken in the first round. Is that right? And I believe one quarterback was taken. A lot of the quarterbacks had to wait to get picked, which was a shock. And we're going to talk more in depth about that. But of all the quarterbacks that were out there, what I want to know is how can I put this and be nice about it? If you're Jake Fromm, what were you thinking?
Right? He could have been coming out this year, right?
Was Jake Fromm in the draft this year? Maybe he should have been. For my listeners out there, if you don't know by now, me and Jake Fromm aren't the best of friends. So
Right.
Fair fair assumption. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're gonna start this discussion out by if Jake Fromm were eligible for this draft, which round would he have gone in?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
Would he have been drafted at all,
I
man?
guess if he would have won the national championship and everything, he probably would have won the first round. It would have been a bust, but he probably would have won.
I don't think so. I think if Stetson Bennett was in this draft, he still would not have gotten picked. So.
Oh no. I don't think nah.
Right.
You think of a career after football.
Right.
Yeah, he'll never have to buy another meal as long as he lives in the state of
Man.
Georgia, you know. But
Oh no, he's king.
oh yeah. He's gonna be like like Herschel Walker is, man. Because has Herschel done anything since he stopped playing football?
No, not
He
really.
like goes to base and does speeches and stuff. But no.
Yeah. So
Get a UFC fight or something.
I think if Stetson Bennett runs for governor in about 15 years, he's gonna win a landslide.
Yeah.
So
That'll be something.
so Jake Fromm, former NFL player Jake Fromm, future XFL player, future USFL player, future fan controlled football league MVP, Jake Fromm. If you're out there listening, why would you be listening? I think you got better things to do with your time, like cleaning a pool or something. All right. All right, enough said. Enough about that fool. All right. So we'll go ahead and we'll talk about Jake later. So we'll go ahead and get into the draft. With the first pick in the 2022 NFL Draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars selected Trayvon Walker, defensive end out of the University of Georgia. Now, this was a shock to everybody, including me, because the consensus number one pick, through the run up to the draft, was Aiden Hutchinson out of Michigan, but Trayvon just came out of nowhere. Of course, Trayvon was the starting defensive end on the national champion Georgia Bulldogs, which had probably the greatest defense in recent memory in college football.
Right. Yep.
He was very destructive. He played on a stacked defense, and he wasn't really a standout throughout the year, but he was steady, and he was always that guy who was causing havoc. Apparently, in the draft combine, the run up to the draft, he really impressed a lot of people and really showed that he was maybe deserving of the pick, at least to the Jacksonville Jaguars. So I don't have anything against the pick. So I guess because it was such a shock, I think that's why folks may have some sort of an indifferent opinion about it, and I'm one of those people.
Yeah.
But I think in the long run, Trayvon, he might not live up to the number one status, because I think he's more like, maybe if he'd have gone 15, 16, 20 somewhere, everybody would say, hey, this is a great pick. But I think at number one, it might have been a bit of a stretch. So we'll start with you, Chris. What are your thoughts?
I don't have any problem with it. Of course, you figured Aiden was a lock, always was. But it was a shock. But he was good. He's good. He's a solid player. It's not like they made the wrong pick. Maybe a little more gamble, maybe, but it's not like they're going to get burned, I don't think. I think a lot of people fell in love with, at Georgia, Jordan Davis, just because he's so, Jordan Davis.
Yeah.
But this guy was, he was all over the place. He did everything. Great player. And it should work out. I don't see a reason why it wouldn't.
Well, with the Jaguars, obviously going to the worst team in the league.
But that's what happens when you're good in college football.
Yeah, and the division of the AFC South, you got the Titans, you got the Colts. So at best, they're going to finish third or fourth. They'll probably wind up behind the Texans again. So he'll have a lot of opportunities to be on defense, if nothing else.
He'll be a lot better this year for sure.
No doubt.
A little bit.
Lance, talk to me.
Yeah, I think I fall on that same line there, piggybacking. I think that it was a shock that he got the first pick, but then again, you really can't go wrong at this point in time. Even if he goes out and he's a bust or whatever, the Jaguars need all the help they can get, man. He can't do no wrong with him as long as he's cultivated properly by some veterans. Some veterans get him in there and show him a few things. He should be good to go. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah, as long as he's not asked, to carry the defense, and they bring him along slow. Yeah, I think he'll.
The veterans on and
Yeah.
teach him some, teach him a little bit. I think he'll be okay.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. So that being said, Lance, what do you think Urban Meyer was thinking watching this draft?
I don't know. That's a good one. I'm not sure what he might have been thinking at that time. You know what I'm saying? Um, all I can say is that a lot of these coaches, to include Urban Meyer, a lot of these coaches were probably thinking along the lines of, hey, especially ones that came up and had some really good seasons that they thought that they were going to have, a lot of players, get chosen or get picked in the first round, and so I think that any coach that had a player that went in the first round should be happy. I mean, you shouldn't, say, hey, I should have had 2 more, 3 more in the first round. You should be happy that you have any that go in the first round. That says a lot about a coach, regardless of his status or his status for the season, whether he won or lost or what have you. If you got somebody going in the first round, then that says a lot about you.
Hey, no doubt, no doubt. So, Chris, Urban Meyer, what does all this the events of the last 12 months? What does that do to his legacy?
It doesn't really. I don't. Really, I guess it depends on what you look at his legacy is. Like I never really thought of him as like some fan, like this coach guru who's gonna take over the NFL. Like I just thought he was good at recruiting. Like so, I guess it just doesn't really change anything for me. It just proves to me more my point on his like how I view him. I just feel like I'm all right now. But yeah, it's just like Urban Meyer, like the recruiter. That's how I look at him, and so it doesn't really change anything for me.
Yeah, and his reputation as an NFL coach is doo doo. So
Yeah,
yeah.
Right? Yeah.
I think if people expect anything different, I don't know what to tell you. Like that was never gonna work.
Yeah, that was a dumpster fire. Yeah.
Like kids, he's got their like lives with his hands. Like
Right.
he can't control them grown men.
Yeah,
Right, that's true.
anybody who thinks that Tim Tebow can play tight end at age 34.
Yeah,
Right, yeah, man.
yeah, he should have hung it up as soon as Tim Tebow got cut.
Yeah, like, hey Tim, how you doing? You want a job? All right. All right. Next up, number 2, the Detroit Lions selected Aiden Hutchinson, defensive end out of Michigan. Of course, Aiden was the prohibitive number 1, and he fell to number 2. I think this is a great pick for Detroit, especially he's a Michigan kid, a hometown pick. I liked everything I saw about him. He's one of those high motor guys, kind of like a J.J. Watt type, who seems like he just never gives up on a play. His dad was an All-American football player at Michigan as well, so he comes from, he's a legacy that comes out of there. And I think every football team needs to have that high energy white guy on the defensive line. See those guys, like what the guy, the Bosa, J.J. Watt, the Bosa guy.
Down his face mask and whatnot.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm one of them guys.
Yeah, and he'll be the guy that that can be the face of the team. He's safe. You don't have to worry about him, getting into trouble, all that kind of stuff. He's just a good safe, especially in Detroit. I mean, because so I think this is Detroit's one of the worst teams in the NFL. They've been consistently underperforming for, good Lord, my entire life. So there's no place to go but up when it comes to this pick.
Yeah.
So. Chris, what are your thoughts?
It's a great pick for them. I mean, yeah, the guy's like everything's that could be said about him already been said. Probably the best pick in the draft, without a doubt. Detroit's always going to stink, but at least they got like somewhere direction they go to now instead of just a pit. But yeah, I mean, what can you say?
Yeah,
should have won number 1 probably.
Yeah,
gonna be good.
Exactly.
That guy, yeah. That's what you need.
All right, Lance, talk to me.
Yeah, I think the same thing, man. I'm with you on that. I think that the Lions need all the help they can get to, just like the Jaguars. I think he'll be a pretty good asset to the team. He should have went first, without a doubt. But hey, you got to deal with it. He's number 2, so that says a lot too. So let's see what the Lions can do. I think they're gonna need more help on the offensive side than they do the defensive side, because they was getting blown out some games. But I mean, that comes with time, and that comes with also everybody gelling together. If everybody's not gelling, then that's one of the things you're gonna have an issue with throughout the season. Everybody got to be in sync, man.
Well, I can say one thing about Detroit, man. One positive thing is that clearly, man, they love their coach. They played
Yeah,
hard.
Yeah, right.
yeah, this will be the second year too. So
Yeah.
they'll probably get definitely a couple more wins this year.
Yeah, I watched quite a few of their games. Yeah, I watched quite a few of their games last year, man. They were in a lot of their games. They just didn't have the
Yeah,
talent. You know what I mean? But these dudes
Right.
really balled out for their coaches. So
Right.
that says something. So I wouldn't be surprised if they could potentially have a trajectory if they had a quarterback of the Cincinnati Bengals who went from really really bad to really really good in a short amount of time.
Yeah.
So
Right.
I wouldn't be surprised if they really turned it around, had at least a solid maybe 500 season or
yeah.
I
They're
guess
in the right direction for sure.
with the 17 game season you can't go 500. I guess if you have a tie you can go 500, right? I guess. I don't
Right.
know.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll see. Next up is Derek Stingley Jr., defensive back out of LSU. He went to the Houston Texans, and
Right.
this is the first bust of the draft. I think this dude is he'll be out of the league in 3 years.
You think so?
Yeah, I absolutely do, man. He had a good freshman year. He tapered off the last 2 years, man, and dude got burnt quite often.
Yeah.
Just this past year, I know he had some injuries and all that kind of stuff, man. But I just didn't like what I saw. And plus, he's going to a terrible team. That's he's going to be playing in a division against the Colts and Titans, and
Yeah.
for one, on one hand you got to tackle Derrick Henry, and on the other hand you got Matt Ryan. Yeah, he's gonna get burnt a lot. I see bust written all over this guy. I didn't like what I saw at LSU. So Lance, what are your thoughts?
Right. Yeah, well, I didn't see him that much, but from what I was seeing at the draft, they kind of hyping the guy up. I mean, you could be right. He could be a bust, or like I said again, they could take him under his wing and show him some stuff. I think a lot of times when these guys, especially these youngsters, get in here, they get a big head, like hey, I'm still playing college ball, and there ain't nothing like that. They get stung a couple of times in the NFL, in the pro league, and then they wake up. You know what I'm saying? They regroup. I've seen a lot of NFL players like that came in with a big head, and then once they got stung a couple of times, they had to go back and regroup. And he just might be that person. If he learns a lot and show improve, he might be all right. But then again, he might be like you said before. He might be just a straight up boss man coming in, can't perform or underperformer, and like you said, in a few years he'll be gone, either hurt or out of the league.
Yep, Chris.
I'm not gonna say it was definitely a bust, but it was definitely a reach. I mean, the Texans need everything across the board. So the third pick, pick the best player there. He was not the best player at third. And I'm looking at their depth chart right now. He's starting lineup against Christian Quincy. I don't know who that is. So they're gonna be they're gonna be picking on him every single game. He's got a long ways to go. Maybe it'll work out, maybe it won't, but definitely a bad pick just from just organization wise. I don't understand why they went that.
Oh, I agree. I think, in my opinion, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong here, but I think on a bad team, probably the worst position to play on a really bad team, especially defensively, is cornerback.
Yeah, you're going to be on the field all game.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you don't get
right.
yeah, especially if you got a shitty defensive line, which they do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you're not gonna get any pressure on the quarterback.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what I think in the NFL, you can cover a guy for maybe 2-3 seconds max.
Right.
So it's not like, and you don't have a defensive line. It's not putting pressure on the quarterback. So you got guys that are running around. You can't really stay with them because you're not getting pressure on the quarterback, and you can get just drilled. Play after play after play. So I think I wouldn't want to be a cornerback on a bad team. So.
Well, offense will get
Right.
offense is gonna have 3 and outs all game. He's just gonna be out there all the time.
Yeah.
That's true.
Exactly. And speaking of bad teams that drafted a cornerback, the New York Jets with the 4th pick selected Sauce Gardner, cornerback out of Cincinnati. Cincinnati was undefeated going into the playoff, and then they got beat to sleep by Alabama. Sauce was a decent cover corner, but the other guy, there were two corners with on Cincinnati. I think that the other guy was a little bit better than Sauce. Um, Sauce cheated a lot. He's one of those guys that you always catch him looking into the backfield, into the offensive
Right.
backfield, and playing. They played with the American Conference, right? So so the competition wasn't that great. So you can cheat a little bit, in that division. But obviously, when they played against Alabama, they got ran off the field. So, um, and playing in New York with a tough fan base, tough media on a shitty team, bust. What are your thoughts, Chris?
I don't know if I'm gonna call him a bust. I like him. I mean, I think he's got the juice to thrive in New York too. He's that type of guy. So I think if anyone can do it with the Jets, he might have a good chance. I thought he played pretty solid throughout college. Like, I don't know. I don't have a problem with it. Like the Jets needed not. To, they got a couple pieces, but they still need a lot to do. And I think he was the best corner in the drafts, and they got the guy. It seems like they won it. They won it in the entire time also. So I don't have an issue with it.
Okay, Lance. His name is Sauce Gardner. So, and he had on a diamond
I
crusted
saw the chain. I saw
bottom.
the
Yeah,
chain. I saw
yeah.
it. Yeah, I saw it.
So,
He better live up to his hype. That's all I
exactly,
can say about that. He better
exactly.
live up to the hype because he
Yeah,
already,
yeah.
you know, he done already put his name out there like he gonna do something.
Yeah, like he
I'm
prime
hoping
time.
that he
Yeah.
does. I'm hoping that he does.
So, Lance, let me ask you this: since he'll be hanging in New York, on a scale of
Yeah,
1 to 10, what's the odds he gets shot coming out of a nightclub at 3 o'clock in the morning in New York?
very high. Very high. The odds are high. Especially walking around with like a $50,000 chain on your neck.
Oh my
Just
God!
18 years.
Can you imagine that in New York,
18
man?
years old. Yeah. Yeah, he better hide that chain. He better hide it real good. He better not go
Hopefully he's got a good. I hope he's got a good manager, agent, something.
Right, yeah. He's gonna need that. He's gonna need a lot of guidance, man. A lot of it.
Hey, Lance, you know they're gonna follow him home from the club, right?
Right? Yeah, I know. You ain't gotta tell me. I already know.
Take things off. Take chains off.
Yeah. He better have some good bodyguards, I tell you that.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I think he'd get it together though. I think it'd be pretty. I'm not gonna say like I wouldn't say it's one of the best ever or anything like that. But I think he can have a career.
Well, how you gonna have a career when you constantly trying to recover from stab wounds? In other news, Sauce Gardner was found in a pool of blood outside of Latin Quarters. Yeah, stay out of Brooklyn. All right.
Right.
All right. So next on the list, we got at number 5, we got Kayvon Thibodeau, edge rusher out of Oregon. Coming into the season, he was a prohibitive number 1 draft pick. He was like a can't miss prospect. He got injured a little bit at Oregon and didn't have as great a season as everybody anticipated, so he fell a little bit. One of the criticism I heard by Kayvon is that they say he don't love football and he doesn't really give all full effort. And if they're saying that about you coming out of college, then chances are you're gonna struggle in the pros because as soon as you may have a bad game or a couple bad plays, they're gonna harp on that. And
Yeah, they're gonna come up with it,
yeah,
that you really don't want to play.
exactly. And he's going to New York, so he'll probably hanging out with Sauce Gardner. So he'll probably get stabbed and shot right next to Sauce. So,
Oh my goodness.
so what are your thoughts, Lance, on that pick for the Giants?
The Giants, especially from last year, they needed some help. They got scored on a lot. They really need to tighten up the defense. He can come in and help them out in any way. I'm all for that. I know that they're struggling. The Giants are already struggling at the quarterback position. But their defense really needed to tighten up because they gave up a lot of points last year. So if he can help them out in any way, that'd be great. That'd be really great.
And Chris, what are your thoughts?
Well, I didn't know about him. I didn't know that they were questioning him like his drive to play. So that kind of changes everything for me. I think he's a pretty good player though. He's got Dexter Lawrence on the opposite side of him. That's good. Some good little veteran presence kind of. He's definitely going to play. He'll get plenty of snaps, plenty of practice in. We'll see.
Fun fact, and this is going to not bode well for Mr. Kayvon Thibodeau. In the history of the NFL, did you know in the history of the NFL, a player with the letter X in his last name as the last letter in his last name has never made the Pro Bowl?
Oh wow!
Really?
Yeah. So,
You get that stat.
hey man, hey, hey.
Really?
In this business, man, we got we gotta break things. You know what I'm saying? We gotta know things. So so my crack staff here at What Lonzo Thinks came up with that. So
Wow.
All right.
so Kayvon Thibodeau, by the virtue, unless you change your last name, you're not gonna have a All Pro career. So
Wow.
Same.
okay.
Interesting.
Next up at number 6, the Carolina Panthers selected Ike Ekwonu, offensive tackle out of NC State. Love the name, named after Ickey Woods. I love offensive linemen. I just do. For whatever reason, I love watching them play. I love watching them just maul people, and I love watching this guy's video. He would just eat people alive. I like his motor. I think this is a solid pick for the Panthers. What are your thoughts, Mr. Sibley?
Yeah, I think it is too. I think that's a solid pick. He should be able to help them out tremendously. They kind of struggled a little bit on the offensive side, and I think also with with him being the sixth pick, they should be able to. He should get some mentoring in and get with those guys. I forget the other lineman, offensive lineman name. I can't think of his name. The guy that was really good. If he can take him under his wing, he should be able to show improve within the next couple of seasons. I don't know about this first season because they got blown out last year. The Panthers was down there with Detroit, so
Yeah.
hopefully he can come in and make a change, man.
And Chris, can you trust anybody, especially in an offensive line position with a name like Icky?
I think it's a good name for offensive lineman. It's good to stick it to him, I guess. I don't know. No, I think it's a good pick though. I mean, I'm like you. If you get a high, good rated offensive tackle guard, I'm all for it. They need a lot of help, and the way to get better is start with the trenches, build your way out. So that's always a good strategy. He's a better run blocker than he is pass blocker. Panthers gonna be running. I mean, yeah, they got McCaffrey back there. They're gonna be running all the time anyway, so he'll fit right in.
Yeah.
No, because McCaffrey he's gonna pull a hamstring in the third game and be out for the season.
Yeah, I'll be
I was
back.
about to say, is he healthy?
He stay hurt, man.
I don't know if he's ever healthy, but just get what you can out of him.
Yeah, I mean, he'll play well for a couple games, man. Then like I say, he's got a high ankle sprain. You won't hear from him for the rest of the season. So, so I don't know about that one. But if you think about it, more research here. If you think about it, most high draft pick offensive linemen have long careers, and they usually it's rare to find a bust at the offensive line in the first round of the draft. It's very uncommon. So it's really a safe pick. Offensive linemen are always a safe pick. So because usually if an offensive lineman, especially early round lineman, has a bad career, usually something injury related,
Right.
but not performance related. So
Right.
kind of hard to go wrong. All right. Speaking of offensive linemen, at number 7, the New York Giants pick again. They picked Evan Neal, offensive tackle out of Alabama. This was a fine pick as well, other than the fact that Alabama got beat to sleep by Georgia in the national championship game. Evan, obviously, I think Bryce Young got sacked like 6 or 7 times in the national championship game, so the whole offensive line had trouble with that Georgia defense. So he's gonna get more of that in the NFL, but I'll give him the benefit of the doubt based on what I said earlier about offensive linemen. So, Chris, what are your thoughts about Mr. Evan Neal?
Oh yeah, I mean it's pretty much the same as the Panthers. He's a good player. They got Andrew Thomas over there too, right?
Yeah,
Guy
from Georgia.
So it's a lot easier to win when you got a good O line. So like pretty much the same as the Panthers. You can't go wrong with it.
Okay, now Lance, they're gonna have to block for Daniel Jones. So,
Yes.
what are your thoughts, man?
Yeah, yeah, they better do a damn good job because he stayed on the ground more than anything
Yes,
last year.
yes,
And I'm not really sure why. I know they last year they went with I forget his name, Big Bird for a minute. I forget his name, that backup quarterback.
yeah.
They
Mike
had,
Glennon.
yeah, Glennon. They went Glennon, and then from Glennon they went to Fromm and all that. But you know, they're gonna need all the help they can get on the offensive side. They're just gonna have to get it together. He's gonna be a great asset, and the Giants just gonna have to show improve again this year. They're just gonna have to get it together, man, because they look like damn soup sandwich last year.
I mean, the division still stinks too, so
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's not like it's gonna get beat to sleep all the time.
Oh,
Right.
and did I hear you right, Lance? You said they cut Jake Fromm. The Giants cut Jake Fromm. Is that it?
Yeah, yeah, they got rid of him, so I'm pretty sure they're gonna be looking for a backup quarterback behind Glennon. Yeah, they cut him. They got rid of him just to satisfy your curiosity. There. So he looking for a new home, man.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about Jake for a second here, man. Since you brought him up, since you brought him up, okay. You know, Jake recently got married, right? You know,
Yes.
to a girl that I'm sure thought he was gonna be, you know, this rich, famous quarterback and everything. So, you know, I'm sure that played into the thought process. And okay, so if you're Mrs. Jake Fromm, he gets cut twice, you know, in 2 years. He's out of work, and he comes to you and say, "Hey, baby, we moving back to Warner Robins, Georgia." How long do you think she'll stay with him, Chris?
I don't know. I think his family's got pretty. I don't know. It depends on how many pools he can sell, I guess. You know, they got a luxury pool business in Warner Robins, so we'll see.
I'm pretty sure that Mrs. Jake Fromm had visions of them living in New York and glamour and glitz and all this money and, you
She
know.
ain't leaving New York. She ain't leaving. He might leave, but she ain't. You know, the two people on the team. She got two other teams picked from besides him. She got the Jets. She got the Giants, Buffalo Bills. You know what I'm saying? She got plenty in New York.
I don't think she want to hang out at Olympia Skate Center in Warner Robins.
I don't know, man. He might go picked up by like the Birmingham XFL team or something.
I don't think she envisioned hanging out at Chick-fil-A on Saturday nights in Warner Robins,
Right.
Georgia.
I know that's right. I know that's right.
That's what it is.
One more.
Shot's better.
One more question. Okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, when Mr. and Mrs. Fromm, Jake Fromm and his lovely bride get into an argument, okay, I think to shut him down, all she needs to do is call him a slow, noodle-armed loser.
Oh my goodness.
So what are your thoughts? So if you're Jake's wife and you're arguing, would you go there with him? Would you go there, Chris, to shut him down?
I just hit him with the old. Shut up, Jake.
Lance, what do you think, man? You think she's gonna go there on this?
I think what she's gonna do is pull out her phone and say, "See, look at this right here. See, you see that game right there? You see that shit? That's why you got cut. That's why you got cut."
All right, now finally, one more. On a scale of 1 to 10, how long do you think it's gonna take for it to come out that Jake Fromm's wife cheated on him with Justin Fields?
Oh shit.
Oh my goodness. Really? Really though?
Oh, hey, man. I'm just saying, man.
I mean, you might as well. He's about taking everything else from him.
Exactly.
Right.
I'm telling you now, if I'm Justin, I'm calling her up like, hey, you know, I got 2 tickets to Chicago.
Yeah, you invited.
Yeah, you invited. One-way trip. All right.
Right.
Jake, if you're out there listening, why would you be listening? I digress. Leave Jake alone. He's trying to make his way in the world like any other slow, noodle-armed racist. Okay.
Right. Well, your ass. Yeah.
Mr. Elite.
Yeah, Mr. Elite. Okay. All right. I digress. I apologize. All right. Next up, oh my lord, at pick number 8, we got the Atlanta Falcons. our hometown Atlanta Falcons, they selected Drake London, injured Drake London, wide receiver out of USC. I'm gonna say no. I'm not gonna say anything right now. So, Chris, the floor is yours.
I mean, he walked up to the podium fucking limping.
That was enough.
Oh yeah, that was it for me. Everyone tries to tell me that he's good. I don't give a shit. I don't trust anyone from the Pac-12, especially USC. Fuck Drake London. I don't care what he does. I don't know. What are we thinking? Just Calvin Ridley be back. He's just got to get some gambling things worked on. Like we could have. I would take Wilson, Alave, anybody. I don't know what the fuck we got him. There's one person the entire draft. I was like, whoever we get, just don't get Drake London.
And they must have heard you, man. It's like, we'll show you. Hold my beer.
Yeah. Come on down. Limp on down.
Lance, man, talk to me.
Man, yeah, I got the same sentiment. I'm not sure why you would have him, and especially as high as he went, limping. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what you're gonna bring to the table. I don't know what you bring to the table. You got to go through rehab. You got to be right. They see something in him that a lot of people don't. So hopefully they'll get their money's worth, whatever that is. They'll get their money's worth.
That's why I'm wearing this shirt for a reason.
But now here comes the important question. Okay, Lance, here's the important question, and Chris, you too.
Yeah.
Okay. Which strip club does he get thrown out of first, Magic City or the Pink Pony?
Oh my goodness, I don't know. That's a good question, man. That's a good question.
Because they will follow him. They will follow him back to Alpharetta. I tell you that, but that's for certain. That's for certain.
Right.
So, Chris, which club does he get thrown out of first, Magic City or Pink Pony?
He probably don't even get in the front door, man.
How long would it take him to be implicated?
Oh, yeah, he probably gets thrown out that one. What's the Claremont Lounge?
How long do it take for him to be implicated in a three-way love triangle with T.I. and
Yeah, he'll be on what's it, fucking Real Housewives of Atlanta.
Right, man. I'm about to say, yeah. Wait.
Yeah, Drake London, if you're out there listening, stay out of Buckhead. This was a terrible fucking pick, man. Terrible pick. Okay, last year you picked a tight end that you didn't need. You know.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. We got no plan at all.
Yeah, I mean,
our GM works for the Saints still. You can't tell me otherwise.
Your defense is straight ass. The University of Georgia just won a national championship with the greatest defense ever. Okay.
Right.
All right. You need defense. You need somebody to sell tickets. Okay. You can't stop nobody. Why would you not put what's his name? Jordan Davis in the middle, give him number 99, put him in the middle of your defensive line. Because the experts say when you build in a team, you build from the inside out, right?
Right.
Why not do that?
If they would have got Davis, then we could trade Grady Jarrett.
Yeah.
$80 million in cap room right there. Like, I don't understand how I can run their team better than them. It just makes no sense.
And you will sell buku tickets. Tickets, man. It'll be sold out just for folks, just because he's, national champion Jordan Davis. I mean, but no, we gonna get that. And this is a deep wide receiver draft, so we're gonna pick the only wide receiver who hurt.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, there was no questions about any other receivers except for that one. They were like, you know what? He's the guy.
Yeah, he's our guy.
Yeah, he's the one.
And this is why they're the Falcons. Okay.
Yeah.
28-3. All right. Next up, Seattle Seahawks selected Charles Cross, offensive tackle out of Mississippi State. The Seahawks are one of those teams that always they stick to their core, and they always draft what they need.
Right. That's right. We do.
Yeah.
We do.
Yeah. Now, Lance, since you are a Seattle guy, you come from that. You were in that area for a long time. I know you're a big Seattle fan. If you're Russell Wilson, okay, how do you feel that they drafted an offensive lineman after they traded you when you when you got tired of running around being chased all game long? How does that make you feel?
Well, first of all, I got to look in the mirror if I'm Russell Wilson. You don't get sacked 44 times in the regular season for nothing. It ain't all the offense. You got to move. He's had an issue ever since he got that knee surgery. He's accurate when he's got a block. And I understand that, yeah, the offensive line got to do their job, but you also got to move too. The game has changed a lot, since he won the Super Bowl, since we won the Super Bowl, and he's just one of those quarterbacks that he can't afford to sit back there in the pocket. He got to go, but that knee won't let him. His knee, he had that real bad hit on his knee, and he never recovered. And he's nursed it for the last few years. A lot of people probably hadn't looked at the films and whatnot, but I look at the films, and you can tell that he's nursing it, and he don't want to run. He'll run if he have to, but for the most part, he ain't. He's dependent on that offensive line. Now, to get to the offensive line, let me go ahead and jump on them. I mean, they ain't been the best. I mean, we get penalties like a mug, man. We get a lot of penalties. Offside, always jumping outside, always, 15-yard penalty for excessive hit. They got a lot of work to do. And that's because, of course, the Legion of Boom was split up. All the guys that we had when we won the Super Bowl, they all went their separate ways for the most part. And we only had like maybe 2 left from that. But what I will say, we need all the help we can get on the offensive line. And I'm glad he's gone. Shit, we can't do no worse. I mean, Locke coming from Denver, I mean, he ain't the best player, but we'll probably find somebody else. We got Geno Smith. Geno Smith won a few games for us this year, so he kind of picked up the slack. He picked up the slack when Russell Wilson was hurt from his pinky finger or whatever happened when he got hit on the finger or whatever. But I think we'll be all right. If we pick up another one, I mean, we're talking about picking up Mayfield. If they pick up Mayfield, then we might be all right. Either way it goes. But I think that's a pretty decent pick, man. Charles Cross was a pretty decent pick.
I agree, absolutely. Chris?
So I think Seattle, obviously, without Russ, they got to replace the quarterback because Drew Lock is not going to be that guy.
Nope.
Oh, no.
They were going to get him in this. I don't think they were getting him in this draft or a replacement for him either. So if you want to tank, get what you need. Get the bread and butter. Get the offensive line. Get your running backs. Lose 17 games and go get a quarterback next year. So good.
Either that or trade for Baker, like Lance said. I mean, Baker, for all his faults, man, Baker, when he was healthy, he did lead them to the playoffs and won a playoff game. So there's something there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. You're right.
The defense in the run game led them to the playoffs too, though.
That too. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Good ass defense. You're right.
Yeah. So, but I think Baker's last chapter has not been written just yet.
No.
I don't think he's going to be a week one starter.
If he goes to Seattle, I think he would be. That's probably the only team he can go to and probably start. Anywhere else, he's going to be a backup. You're right. You're right about that. So
I think someone will get hurt and they'll bring him in on a 1 year.
Yeah. Because his salary is guaranteed. I think he's making like $25 million. It's guaranteed.
Right.
Cleveland got to pay him no matter what. So
I think they're just going to end up cutting him. Imagine.
Yeah, but they got to eat that salary no matter what. So he's in the catbird seat when it comes to the loot. So if nothing else,
the Panthers are looking at it though. The Panthers are looking at trying to pick him up.
I would definitely pick him up Sam Darnold. I don't know unless it's a money thing. They don't want to spend too much money on him. I cannot see a reason why you wouldn't take him up Sam Darnold.
See, it's a money thing because they owe Sam Darnold $18 million.
Yeah.
Okay, guaranteed.
That's the only thing it could be. Cause ain't no way.
Yeah. So, and that's the problem. Both guys got guaranteed money coming. So that's the problem. So we'll see. All right. Next up at number 10, New York Jets selected Garrett Wilson, wide receiver out of Ohio State. Garrett. This dude, he's one of those dudes who's super quick, fast, catches everything that comes his way. I don't know if he's big enough to really take the pounding that he's going to take. But I think this is the wrong team because the Jets' offense is so weak. I don't think he can be a number one guy, week in and week out. And plus, when you got somebody like Zach Wilson, hanging you out to dry across the middle, every other play. So I think the wide receiver most likely to get decapitated is going to be Garrett Wilson. So I don't like this pick. I don't like this pick for the Jets. So,
Correct.
what are your thoughts, Chris?
Yeah, looking at he'll definitely be in the slot, and that's where he needs to be because he cannot be a number one or number two guy. They got Corey Davis on the outside, Elijah Moore. Although I guess the only thing I'd be worried about is him getting hurt because he's definitely going to be 5 yard slant up the middle, and Wilson is just going to lob one at him and he's going to hang him out.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, so I think if he can stay healthy, he could be a good pick if he can stay healthy.
So that being said, Lance, do you think Garrett Wilson will be able to run those slant routes if he's coughing up blood by the second quarter? What are your thoughts?
I doubt that. I doubt that very seriously. Yeah, I doubt that very seriously. Yeah, I'll pick it back off of that. Yeah, if he stays healthy, he'll be all right. But he ain't gonna be able to take too much out the middle. So, they're gonna have to look, use him as an asset, but don't hang him out there, man. Don't put him out there.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to catch the ball with a bruised sternum. So,
right. Yeah.
Bless his heart. Bless his heart.
I can't understand why the Falcons didn't take him. You got Pitts up the middle, have this guy running out routes and whatnot.
Yeah, I mean, he really need to go to a team, with an established quarterback, with an established offense. Like I said, I think we might see this career get ruined, like I said, in the first couple of years, man, because he's going to have a shitty quarterback hanging him out. So what?
Devontae Smith looked pretty good last year.
Yeah, but, once again, but Zach Wilson is fucking awful, man. So, that's the problem, man. That's the problem. So, all right. We'll see how that works out, man. But I got my doubts about poor Garrett.
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah.
That being said, the next pick, also from Ohio State, number 11 by the New Orleans Saints, Chris Olave. Now, I like this pick because the Saints have Michael Thomas as their number one guy. He's more of a possession guy. He's not a blazer. And Chris Olave is a blazer. So, like you said before, I can see him just running go routes and Jameis Winston just chunking. Yeah. So I like this pick for the Saints because of the Saints offense and the diversity. And when you got Kamara, in the backfield, you have a really balanced offense and opportunity, to have a lot of one-on-one coverage. So I think this is a good pick for them. What are your thoughts, Lance?
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, I would say that's a pretty good pick. The Saints, they haven't had any issues with wide receivers in the past. What I will say is they picked up one of our guys from Seattle. I forget his last name, but he was with the Saints, left the Saints, and came to us, and then went to another team and went back to them. I can't think of his name. It was number 80, but he did pretty good for them. So I think that this would be a very good pick for them. Now I don't know who's going to be their quarterback, so I don't know who's going to be throwing to him right now because I know that.
Well, they re-signed Jameis. They re-signed Jameis.
They re-signed Jameis?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, Jameis should be back. But they also they got Andy Dalton as the backup.
No, Lord.
Oh, do they? Yeah. They got Dalton over there?
Yeah.
Okay, they got Dalton over there now. Okay, yeah, okay. And then I guess they still have what's his name playing the Wildcats. So okay, all right. What's his name?
Taysom Hill.
Taysom Hill.
Yeah, Taysom Hill. Yeah. So they might be all right. I think it's a pretty good pick for them, though. I didn't know that they had signed Jameis, though. I didn't know that.
All right, Chris, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I like the pick. I think he's probably one of the best guys out of this receiving class, especially with the Saints. They just make every receiver look good. You got Michael Thomas coming back. He's going to take a lot of double teams. This guy's going to get open a lot. James, he throws a lot of picks, but he can fucking sling it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he can. Yep. Yeah. He should. Yep.
You got Kamara. And they got a pretty good team. Their defense is, from what I remember, is stacked up pretty decent last year.
Yeah.
Yep, it is. Yeah.
I think he can thrive pretty good in there. It sucks for Falcons fans, but it is what it is. I like it. I like it pick.
Yep, so do I. Next up, Detroit Lions. So what?
They traded up to go get him too, didn't they?
Yeah, I think they did. Yeah, they traded with Washington. Yeah.
Yeah, they got a plan for him for sure.
All right, so next up we have at number 12, Detroit Lions picking again. They chose Jameson Williams, wide receiver out of Alabama. Jameson is tall, fast, lanky. He also played at Ohio State before he transferred to Alabama. He's the reason why Bama beat Georgia in the SEC championship game. They just couldn't cover this dude, man. Dude was just all over the place, man.
Wow.
Just zooming people, zooming.
Right.
And he blew his knee out in the championship game, of course. And all the Bama fans said, well, we would have beat y'all if Jason Williams had blown his knee out. Bullshit. Bullshit. You know, the Bulldogs came ready to play. They were ready for him this time around. But we'll never know. But Jameson Williams, if he hadn't blown his knee out, I think he probably would have been the very first wide receiver to come off the board before Drake London. So he's obviously, they say he's going to be ready by training camp, but still, I think, you know, really realistically, you need a full year, you know, to really kind of get back up to speed on a busted knee.
Yeah.
So, and when you're Detroit Lions, when you're a terrible team as well, I think they should redshirt him this year and just bring him back next, because you know you're not going to win shit anyway. So don't put him out there before he's ready.
Don't put him out there to get hurt.
Exactly. But I think long term, this is a good pick because I think they're talking about Detroit, you know, drafting a quarterback next year once Jared Goff is gone, because I think it's his last guaranteed year on his contract is this year. So this is a good future pick for the Lions. So I do like it in that regard. So what are your thoughts, Lance?
Yeah, I'll go with you on that. Yeah, I'll go with that. That seems like it's, you know, if they can, you know, help him out, get him rehab, get him good with his knee, because it takes a long time to recover from a knee injury.
Yep.
And sticking him out there, he'll be just like somebody else I know that played with Washington, RG3, messed up that knee real bad, and then they stuck him right back out there. They thought he was ready to go, and you know, he never recovered.
Nope.
Never recovered from that knee injury. Even when he went to the Baltimore Ravens, he never really recovered. He was a decent backup quarterback, but yeah, I think James, if they let him recover and let him, you know, like you said, if they reassure him, he'll be all right. If they stick him out there and somebody clip him, it's over. Yep. It's gonna be over with.
Case in point, Odell Beckham Jr. came back, you know, right back from that knee injury, and boom.
Right.
Yep,
and boom. Yep. But he done had 3 surgeries on that knee, mind you.
Oh, really?
3 on the same knee.
Yeah.
I'm surprised he didn't retire.
Yeah.
He got his ring, so yeah, you know.
Yeah, he got his ring, so I would let it go if it was me.
Yeah, I just hang it up.
Let it go. Yep. But he's not going to, because they're going to throw some money his way.
Oh
yeah.
Heck yeah. All right, Chris, what are your thoughts on Jameson?
Pretty much all the same. Yeah, just don't expect too much. Don't ask him for too much. Let him get up to speed in the NFL. You're an up-and-coming team anyways. You got nothing, like, you're not in a hurry to do anything. Just get him well. He's a good player. He'll be good. Yeah, I think they are going to get up really Goff, so you got a new quarterback coming in. You'll have a good target. Win-win.
Absolutely. All right, next up, with the 13th pick, Jordan Davis out of Georgia to the Philadelphia Eagles. I love this pick. Love this pick. I was a huge fan of Jordan Davis, not just because he went to Georgia. I like defensive tackles. I mean, I do. I like how you got the big guy in the middle who can be like really destructive and clog up the middle, stop the run, and put some pressure up the middle on the quarterback. He's going to require double teams. You know, if you got as you saw with Georgia, if you got a strong guy in the middle and 2 kick-ass defensive ends, your defense is going to be rock solid. And I think that's what the Eagles saw with this particular pick. So I love this pick for a team that's really up and coming. I think this, at this point of the draft, is the best pick of the draft so far. What are your thoughts, Chris?
Yeah, this is a great pick. I mean, the Eagles are going up in that. They got A.J. Brown, too, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. Mm-hmm.
Fletcher Cox is still there, so he's going to plug right in there with him.
Yep.
If I'm the Cowboys right now, I'm worried. Because everyone's getting better around them, and they're doing nothing.
Yep.
This guy's going to be a stud day one. Put him out there, let him go. Like, he's ready.
No doubt. Lance, talk to me.
Yep, I agree with that. I'll pick it back up now. Yeah, if I was Cowboys, I'd be pretty worried about him. You're right. Dead on with that one.
All right, pick number 14, the Baltimore Ravens. Pick the third bust of this year's draft, Kyle Hamilton, safety out of Notre Dame. Uh, guarantee you, dude is out of the league in 4 years tops. He doesn't get to a second contract. Period. Period. He reminds me of this guy out of USC. You may remember, big, strong safety by the name of Taylor Mays. I don't know if you remember him or not. If you probably don't remember him because he was a bust. I think Kyle Hamilton is Taylor Mays part two. Um,
Wow.
um, Watched a lot of Notre Dame games. He was another one of those guys. Keeps his eye in the backfield. Takes a lot of chances because they were playing lousy competition all the time. But you can't do that kind of stuff in the NFL because you will get smoked, especially as a safety, as the last line of defense. Terrible pick. Lance, talk to me.
Yeah, I have to agree with you on that one. I have to go with you on that one, man. I don't see him being an outstanding performer, and then especially who the teams that they're gonna play. He's gonna have to really be on his game as a safety because if not, they're gonna blow him right out of the water. They're gonna blow him out of the water, and it'll show. After the first couple times he get out there and play, it'll show. I don't know if you know how he's gonna do in the preseason when they start doing the preseason games. That shows a little bit, but when regular season, if he ain't doing his job, they better snatch him up and get him out of there.
Chris, talk to me.
I don't know about out of the league completely for 4 years, but I do know he's definitely like people are saying that the Ravens now have the best safety duo. That's just crazy to say. I have nothing from this Kyle Hamilton guy. Just the eye test alone, like you read like his numbers and his stats and you see all these things, and you just look at it and you're like, I don't know, I just don't see it. I definitely don't understand the crazy amount of hype behind it for some reason. So I think for that reason, yeah, he will be considered a bust just because of the attention he's getting. But as far as play going, like I said, I mean, he's got all the credentials and all the numbers line up. We'll have to see what he does on the field.
Buzz City. I'm telling you now, Buzz City. Okay. All right. Next up, we got another offensive lineman, Kenyon Green out of Texas A&M, going to the Houston Texans. Who cares? Go, Chris.
Yeah, you should have got an offensive lineman as your third pick. Who cares? Yeah.
Lance.
Same thing. Who cares? Who cares?
All right. Next up at number 16, the Washington Commanders. I'm still kind of getting used to that name. The Washington Commanders. They selected Jahan Dotson, wide receiver out of Penn State. He reminds me of he's one of those guys. He kind of reminds me of Deshaun Jackson, the kind of guy who's like fast, versatile, can run back kicks, get on your nerves and everything, but ultimately not really make your team any better. So, going this high, I really didn't like seeing him go this high in the draft. I think he's more of like a second or third round type of pick. I don't think he's an impact type of player, but he'll be the type of guy, who might run back a kick every now and again and keep a job just because he can run back kicks and punts. All right, Lance, what do you think?
Yes, sir. Yep, I agree with that. Yeah, I think he should have went in a later round, but since he went in the first round, he's gonna have to prove himself. Washington had a lot of issues on right up there in Virginia with them. They've had a lot of issues over the past couple of years. Whether it be the quarterback, running back, wide receivers, tight ends. So I mean, he can only come in here and help them out, but he's gonna have to show and prove if he comes to Washington. He definitely gonna have to show out because they need it. And Heineke is the quarterback, so last year was his first year as a full quarterback before what's his name retired. Smith retired. So we'll see what happens.
No, they got Carson Wentz now.
They got Carson Wentz? Oh,
Yeah.
my goodness. From Philadelphia? Oh, my
Yeah.
goodness. Oh, my goodness. They just pushed Heineke right on out the way, guys. They just pushed him right on out the way, man. Damn.
All right, Chris, talk to me.
Yeah, I think it was a bad pick. Not necessarily because of the player. You could have got. They wanted someone to compliment Terry. Getting a slot guy is going to catch like a wide receiver bubble screen 3 times a game. It's not helping your number one guy at all. They could have got someone like I would have gone with like Traylon Burks, who went down to Tennessee a couple picks later. I probably would have got him, or just fill another spot because they have plenty that need to be filled. So yeah, I think you'll see him in a couple of ESPN top plays, the next couple of years. But anything like of value, no. So I think it's a terrible pick.
I agree, absolutely. Next up is my second favorite pick of the draft so far, Zion Johnson, offensive lineman out of Boston College, going to the Chargers. The Chargers really need help on the offensive line for Justin Herbert, so he's not running for his life every Sunday. Good pick. And I saw a play, Zion Johnson. I think it was against North Carolina, where he blocked this dude into the front row. He took this dude all the way off the field, past the bench. And I'm like, I love dudes who do that kind of stuff, man. I love dudes who do stuff like that. So I became the biggest Zion Johnson fan once he did that. So based on that alone, I think this is a great pick. Chris, talk to me.
Yeah, good pick. You got to protect your franchise guy. This is how you do it.
Yeah.
Simple as that. Like, the Chargers have been doing a good job the last couple of years of getting exactly what they need. This is what they need.
Lance?
Yeah, I agree with that. Herbert needs all the protection he can get.
Yep, Herbert has the potential to be obviously one of the all-time great. Dude is freaking great, man.
Does.
Yeah,
he does.
Yeah.
Oh, he's legit.
Oh, absolutely legit. Absolutely. All right, next up at number 18 is the really confusing pick. Treylon Burks, wide receiver out of Arkansas. Okay, he went to the Tennessee Titans, who traded A.J. Brown to the Eagles. Treylon Burks is like a carbon copy of A.J. Brown. They didn't want to pay A.J. Brown, so they sent A.J. Brown to the Eagles so they can have Treylon Burks, who is A.J. Brown light. But you're the Tennessee Titans, who had the #1 record in the AFC last year, and you have a Super Bowl caliber team, but you're going to trade your best wide receiver for a guy just like him because you cheap.
Right, because you don't want to spend the money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Lance, talk to me, man. Make it make sense.
I don't know, man. I don't know about this one, man. I mean, you're right about that. The Titans, they played some ball last year. I don't know if excuse me, I don't know if the running back Henry gonna come back and do some things with them, but I mean, they just picked up what's name last year. They just picked up Julio Jones last year.
Yep.
And that other guy, forget that other receiver name.
They cut Julio.
On the other side.
You know they cut Julio.
I think.
Yeah, they cut him. Yeah, he's gone.
What?
He gone. Yeah.
What? After 1 year?
Yep.
Yeah. They only played for like three or 4 games.
Yeah. He stayed hurt. So
Yeah, I
he's
thought
like,
Julio was still there with them.
no, he gone.
Well, this might be, he might, Treylon will have to come in and do some work then. Because I don't know what that wide receiver they got over there on the other side. He might have to come in here and do some things. They did have a good record. I think Tannehill can take them, deeper in the playoffs if he got somebody to throw the ball to, and Henry's good. If Henry he comes from that injury that he had, they might be all right. He might be a good fit with them.
See, the Titans, they signed Robert Woods, who blew his knee out last year. So you're bringing in a guy with a busted knee. You got rid of your best guy. You cut Julio Jones. And you bring in a rookie, expecting him to replicate A.J. Brown. Nah. Chris, make it make sense, man.
I can't. Like, they literally, they traded away. They got a younger version of A.J. Brown, less experience, just to save some money. That's really, like, they got nothing out of it. They just, really, it was just a squad. And, like, so they got Robert Woods and him. Before that, they had Ray Davis and AJ. It's pretty much the same team.
Yeah. It just really didn't make any sense to me, man. That's a head scratcher. Yeah.
Yeah, they were like, they took a step back and then just went back. It's a stupid pick.
Yeah, especially when you got a team that's Super Bowl caliber. You should be fine-tuning your team versus, sending out your best receiver. So, I don't know. I don't know what happened there.
If you're going to trade away, if you need the cap space, do it before the draft.
Yeah, exactly.
You get some free agents. Like,
Yeah.
I don't understand it at all. Why are you? I guess they're just throwing the flag up for this year and say, we'll be back next.
Yeah, I think they just flushed the whole season because they're not going to win anything with their current setup. I don't think so. Like I said, plus Robert Woods is coming off of ACL, so
Yeah, who knows?
yeah, it's making a lot of sense to me. Make a whole lot of sense. All right. Next up at number 19, we got Trevor Penning, offensive tackle, Northern Iowa. Um, I like offensive linemen who come from like small Midwest schools. Those dudes usually always turn out to be good picks because they're hungry, because they're tired of being out there in the cornfield. So
Yeah,
I like
yeah.
this pick, especially for the Saints. Good pick, Lance. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, yeah, I said that's a pretty good pick, man. Especially with the Saints right now. Um, the Saints were doing okay. I mean, they were doing okay last season, but I mean, they could use some help. I think that he'll work out with them if if they can keep him healthy. They should have a good run. That's my thought on the Saints. I think that they kind of fell apart a little bit when Jameson was out, and then Taysom Hill came in. They kind of lost their momentum a little bit, but this year I think he could be a good asset to them.
I agree. I agree. Chris?
Yeah, this is safe, solid, meat potatoes pick. I'm sure Jameis appreciates it coming off that leg injury.
Yep. Yeah, because I didn't know if he was gonna come back this year.
Yeah, it was pretty nasty.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, safe pick is what it is.
I agree. All right, next up at number 20, finally, the first quarterback comes off the board. Kenny Pickett, quarterback out of Pittsburgh, selected by the Pittsburgh Steelers. There's a lot to like about this particular pick. I kind of like, I like Kenny's. He seems to have something, some sort of swagger to him. I like a little bit. He kind of reminds me of a poor man's Joe Burrow, that one of those type of guys. I think he'll fit in quite well with the Pittsburgh crowd. He played in the same stadium. Everybody knows him. He's going to sell a lot of tickets. I think this is going to be a solid pick for him down the road. He's not going to do anything this year, but I think in 2 or 3 years he might be the guy to kind of pick up the mantle and make a good 8 or 9 year run as their starter. So I like this pick as a long term pick, and especially with a short quarterback class is a pretty decent pick. What are your thoughts, Chris?
Yeah, I'm pretty much the same. He's definitely not going to be the guy next year. But I think Mitch will be just fine over there. But that gives him a year. But yeah, I mean, he's been playing there his whole college career already. He's playing on Sundays to Saturdays.
Yep.
No difference at all. So I mean, they don't have to go through the whole Dan Marino thing again. They got their guy. He gets to sit for a year, get the speed of the game. So yeah, good pick.
Absolutely. Lance, there was a whole lot of controversy about the size of this dude's hands, man. They made a big deal about the size of his hands, man.
Doesn't he
Dude.
wear 2 gloves too?
So what?
He wears 2 gloves too, doesn't he?
Yeah, he wears 2 gloves as well. So
Yeah.
I don't really get the whole hand thing. So what are your thoughts, man? You
Yeah,
think his
I don't get
hand
that.
size really gonna?
I don't know if that's gonna happen. My none. I mean, you're stepping up to the big league, so you got to be prepared. Everybody's gonna be keying in on him. I mean, who's gonna be the quarterback for them this year?
Mitch
It's
Trubisky.
actually gonna be
They got Trubisky.
who?
Mitch Trubisky.
Yeah. I imagine he's good.
Who?
Unless,
Really?
Yeah.
yeah, unless Pickett just shows out in camp, I'm pretty sure it's going to be Trubisky.
Oh my
They had a choice between Jake Fromm and Mitch Trubisky. So.
Damn.
I thought he looked pretty good at the couple snaps he got at Buffalo last year, though.
Right. I was looking at it from the aspect of a veteran quarterback, somebody that Kenny could actually pick up on and learn some things from him. But I mean, you got Trubisky, and then I don't know who the backup quarterback to him is going to be.
I think Mason Rudolph is still there.
Is it Rudolph?
Yeah,
Rudolph's
Rudolph's still
still
there.
Okay, so he might be able to pick up a little bit from Rudolph.
No, man, never trust anybody that's named after a reindeer.
I'm sure Big Ben is sticking around a little,
Right, I was about to say, yeah, he's gonna need some veteran help, man. He's gonna need some veteran
something like assistance on it.
Yeah.
But this whole hand size thing, man, I think the only arena where hand size really matters is masturbation. You know what
Right. Well, yeah, that's crazy.
I don't know. A lot of people say it's legit. They say the small hands and like lefties, the ball spins a different way, so they can't catch it.
Right.
I think when you're stroking the shaft, man. Let me stop.
Hey, it's only one way to tell. We'll see. He get out here and see what he
I think it's a good spot though, for him, anyways.
Yeah.
All right. That being said, moving right along. that took a wicked turn. All right. Next up, the Kansas City Chiefs. They traded up with the New England Patriots, and they selected Trent McDuffie, cornerback out of Washington. The cornerbacks in this draft really haven't really impressed me at all. Washington had a terrible year last year. I saw the back of Trent McDuffie's jersey a lot because he was chasing people all the time. So I think because the Chiefs play such a wide open offense, and they score quick, so their defense spends a lot of time on the field. So they really need solid obviously Kansas City's opponents usually are playing from behind, so they throw the ball a whole lot more. So if you're gonna be a cornerback in Kansas City, you better be fucking good. So, but I don't know about this pick. So, Lance, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree with you on that. If he going to KC, his game better be on the A, because he can't come in nuts looking.
No.
Kansas City, they be whooping butt, and their defense is very, very good. The defense is good. They stopped a lot of people from scoring last year, and then they ran the scoreboard up on a lot of teams last year. So he's gonna have to really come in here and show and prove. They got some veterans that'll teach him some stuff. So even with them losing Tyreek Hill, he's going to Miami. He's down in Miami. I think they still got a solid team, and Trent can only add to that. I think didn't his father play ball?
Was OJ McDuffie his dad?
I'm asking because that's what I'm thinking about.
I think so. I think he's at least related to them, if not OJ's son.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what are your thoughts, Chris?
I mean, they need some help. They lost Honey Badger. I think they also lost the corner as well. So they didn't need some help. I don't really think that any of these corners that are left are really going to be any kind of game changers, but new body, see what he can do.
All right, next up, linebacker out of Georgia, going number 22 to the Green Bay Packers, Quay Walker. Now, there's two ways to look at this. You got a great player out of Georgia. Quay was great, but to the Green Bay Packers, a Super Bowl caliber team with a malcontent at quarterback they just lost their number one receiver. So they need a receiver bad, a top shelf receiver bad to keep Aaron Rodgers happy, so he ain't doing all that crazy shit that he's been doing over the last couple years.
Right.
And you pick a linebacker. They do need defensive help, but I think just for cosmetic purposes, they really need to take a wide receiver with this particular pick. So.
Right.
I like Quay. I just don't like the team that picked him because they do some weird shit up in there. I think this team's going to be dysfunctional as hell because Aaron Rodgers is going to be pissed off because he don't have nobody to throw to. What are your thoughts, Chris?
Yeah, I mean, good player, but once again, the Packers just don't know how to draft. I mean, the Packers and the Falcons are basically the same franchise except they have Aaron Rodgers. It's just nothing they ever do ever makes sense. I don't really get why they took him. But he'll probably be good. So in the long term, yeah, great pick, sure. I just don't really get it.
Lance.
Same thing. I don't get it either. But of course, Aaron didn't really want to be there. I think they just threw a lot of money to him to keep him there. He wanted to leave after this season. I know they were having issues with him and management. So hopefully they can get it together. They didn't make it in the playoffs. So Quay could probably, once he gets his feet wet, he can probably help him out. But I agree. A lot of times the players that they pick just don't add up. I don't see it. I don't see what they see. I put it that way. They see something in the players that a lot of people don't. It makes sense to them, but it don't make sense to me. So.
I mean, but like I said, they lost Devontae and they lost Valdez Scantling. Scantling went to Kansas City, and obviously and Adams went to Vegas. So they ain't got no receivers, man. So
You have to find somebody to throw it to.
A few weeks ago, I was down in Warner Robins, and I saw this girl. She had on a T-shirt. The T-shirt said, "I ain't gay, but $20 is $20." So I guess Aaron Rodgers' motto is, "I ain't gay, but 50 million is 50 million." He didn't want to be there. You know what I mean?
No.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, he doesn't.
You know.
Yeah,
But
I'm not really sure what. Nothing they do make any sense. Like they said they wanted him to stay, but they drafted it. They traded up, drafted his replacement. Won't get him any weapons.
hey,
Trade away his best.
but hey, here's a check for $50 million.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Okay.
whatever.
Yeah, yeah, whatever, man. All right. Next up, Buffalo Bills. Buffalo Bills, the 2023 Super Bowl champion. Buffalo Bills selected Kaiir Elam, cornerback out of Florida. If the Buffalo Bills don't win Super Bowl this year, something fucking wrong. That team is ready. They mad after the way they lost last year to Kansas City.
Yeah.
They gon' if they don't bust the league wide the fuck open, you know what I mean? I don't know football. You know,
Right.
they got one of the best quarterbacks in the league, you know what I mean, who's pretty much unstoppable.
Yep. Josh was doing it.
Great wide receivers. They got a strong backfield. They got a solid defense. And adding Kaiir Elam out of Florida is a good pick for them because he really ain't got to do much.
Right.
Yeah. You know.
Yeah, you're right.
So this is a great pick for them. Lance, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think too. I think it's a good pick, man. I had money on those damn Buffalo last year. I just knew they was gonna win, man. They had all the key players in the right spots. Everybody was healthy, you know, and I just knew they was gonna go all the way, man. I just don't know what happened in that last game. I just can't call it. So
they got tired, man. That game, man, was just crazy, man, because both teams going up and down the field, man. They were just tired.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true. They were. Yeah. They were going up and down the field, and it was a good game. But I see Buffalo going back and doing better this year than they did last year because they got the total package, man. They got everything. They got it all. Now with their history, of course, yeah, they went to the Super Bowl 4 times and lost all 4 times. So, but the past is the past. I think they got the package together now.
Yeah. Chris?
Yeah.
Hey, you're a Miami guy, man, so they're in your division. What are your thoughts, man?
I mean, there's no chance against them. The Bills are loaded, so I mean, I guess corner was one of their weaker spots. He's not saying much. So they're really just drafting for depth, though. You know, this guy's not going to have to go out there and start immediately. He's not going to do anything at all. He just has to be decent.
Yep.
He's a good enough player. He's definitely good enough to do his job there.
Yep.
Yeah, he can play the nickel, you know what I'm saying? You know, come in, you know, and you know, obvious passing situations, that kind of stuff. Now, when you talk about safeties, the 2 safeties for the Bills, they got the 2 best safeties in the league. So
yeah, I mean, those guys are ridiculous. So they got everything over the top, and he's just there.
Yeah. This team is definitely ready. Definitely ready.
Yeah, I don't think. I mean, they changed the overtime rule for them.
Yeah.
You know they're good.
Yeah, I don't know what to think about that, but yeah, you're right. You're right. All right. Next up, we got Tyler Smith, offensive tackle out of Tulsa to the Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys definitely needed offensive line help, so it was a good pick for them because based on need, if nothing else. Tyler's no one of those guys looking at the tape, man. He's no one of those guys who would just kind of just block a guy and lay on him and drive him into the ground. So, and Dallas has always had good luck when it comes to offensive linemen, so I don't see this being any different. And obviously, you know, with Dak, they do need, you know, as much offensive line help as they can possibly get. So I think this is a solid value pick for the Cowboys at 24. Chris, what are your thoughts?
I'll say it's a good pick if he can come around. Like I do think he's pretty raw still. I think with them losing was a Randy Gregory. I think they should have maybe gone out and got Jermaine Johnson right here.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not going to say this is a great pick unless he turns out to be good. Right now, I don't think they should have went somewhere else.
Lance?
Yep. I agree with that. And, you know, with Dallas, I mean, don't get me wrong, Dallas did a pretty good job last year. You know, they only had one play that they messed up. Oh, Dak couldn't figure out what a timeout was. But,
yeah.
He don't know when to call a damn timeout. But I think this guy could really help him out. think they got all the key pieces too. I think they have everything they need to go further. I just think that they need a little bit more out of their running backs. They need a little bit more out of Zeke if he stays around, if he stays healthy. It's one of the key things that I see with Dallas is one, they spent all that money on Zeke and he really hasn't produced. Now Pollard, this was I think this was a re-signing year for Pollard. I think he was a free agent, if I'm not mistaken. They should have put him ahead of Zeke because he did more. For all the games that I watched with Dallas, he did a little bit more than Zeke did. Zeke got a few, he got a few yards or whatever. But Pollard, he was a solid player with Dallas, and I think Dallas can go a little bit further if they put him up there, and then Tyler can help him out as well. But they gotta do better, man. You gotta know what's going on. Everybody's gonna look at Dak and say he messed it all up. I mean, you got to take responsibility for what you did. They probably could have went a little bit further in the year, and they did. But everybody's going to be banking on them to come back and do the same thing they did last year. So we'll see.
Same old Cowboys.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll see.
Call your timeouts, man, at the right time.
A timeout. Yeah.
No matter who they pick, they're going to lose. It doesn't matter.
Probably so.
Yep. All right, next up we got Tyler Linderbaum going to the Baltimore Ravens at pick number 25. He's a center out of Iowa. Like I said before, I love those offensive linemen that come from the Midwest. He's a center. You really can't go wrong with a center. It's rare. It's hard to find a bad center, especially in this part of the draft. So, solid pick for the Ravens. Somebody who I think this guy Linderbaum, he can play guard and center. So that'll really help out Lamar. So I think it's a solid pick. Lance, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's a solid pick too. I think that with the Ravens, where they are right now, if they stay healthy, they'll be pretty good. He can be a good asset to them. I'm not sure about the quarterback. Lamar Jackson will have to show improve. I know he got hurt, and I forget the quarterback's name that came in behind him, but he just like him. The guy that took his place for a while at the end of the season.
I think it was Huntley. Tyler Huntley, I think is his name.
Yeah, Huntley. Huntley. Yeah, he just like him, man. Yeah. So, I see them doing pretty good, man. This guy can help them out. I see them doing pretty good.
Chris, holla.
I really do.
Yeah, that was a great pick. I think it's pretty much hands down the best center in the draft, and a lot of people had him as one of the better offensive linemen, period. The quarterback gets hurt, you got to put a new guy in there. Yeah, real good pick.
All right, next up, you mentioned him earlier, Jermaine Johnson, defensive end out of Florida State, went to New York Jets at 26. This would have been a good pick for anybody except for the Jets, because they're just a terrible team. And once again, I mean, you guys been in New York City lately, man? I mean, come on now. New York is the wrong place to send a young man, put a bunch of money in his pocket, and put him on a lousy team, because it's too many things to get, too many distractions. The city that never sleeps. Right. So once again, the odds that he falls victim to a home invasion, probably I say 90%. What are your thoughts, Chris?
He's a home invasion.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks he went to the Jets. I think one of the biggest deals of the draft. He's fucking solid.
Right. Yeah.
Hopefully he can just make it like 3 years and then demand a trade.
Yeah, and get out of there. Yeah, this time.
No, he's good. He was on that. I don't know if you ever seen the Last Chance U. He was on there. But he's solid. He's a real good player. He's gonna, if he can get out of New York, I think it'll be one of the biggest steals in the draft.
Lance, what are your thoughts?
I'll go with that. Yeah, I'll go with that too. I agree with that.
The last time I was in New York, I was there during the weed shortage. I don't ever been to New York during the weed shortage, but it's not a fun place to be. Not saying that I smoke weed or anything, but there was a weed shortage, and I recall like walking through Times Square, screaming out, "Anybody got any weed?"
Yeah, they're looking for weed.
Funniest thing ever, man. All right. But that's for a different day and age. That's a different story. It's a lot happened behind. I'm going to tell that story one day. All right. Jacksonville Jaguars on the clock for number 27. Devin Lloyd, linebacker out of Utah. Love this pick. I don't know if you saw Utah play it all last year. They had a really good season. And these one is dude who's always on the tape. No matter what. Every play, you see this dude around the ball. I love dudes like that who got a high motor, high energy, and just all over the place at all times. I think this is a solid pick for the Jaguars. It's too bad he's going to a shitty team. He's going to Florida, Jacksonville. I think the odds of him getting stabbed, outside of a chicken joint are pretty high. What are your thoughts, Lance?
Yeah. The Jaguars just got to get better. I think he can help them out a lot. They just gonna have to. I don't know, man. A lot of the issues with the Jaguars, it lies with the coaches. The coaches get it together, come together, sync up. They can do a lot. They can use this guy. He can be a really, really good asset to them. For all the games that I saw them play last year, they just missing a few links, man. Just a few. If they can get a real good running back and they can get that quarterback in sync with his receivers and the line can hold them, they'll be all right. The Jaguars will be okay. But they just got to start at the top with the coaches, man. That's what I see. They got to have the right coaches for the right players at the right time, and they'll be all right.
All right, Chris?
Yeah, I think he's going to be another one of the, just like Jermaine, another steal. This guy's good. They pretty much led Utah to the Pac-12 championship. And they relied heavy on that defense, and he's the lifeblood of that defense. So he's going to be – I don't think he has too much competition in Jacksonville. He should be a day one. I think he'll be ready to get out there and get it. He's almost like a Micah Parsons type of guy, just all over the place.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. But you know what? Damn all that. What I want to know is he going to get stabbed outside of a chicken restaurant or a taco truck?
Last time I was in Jacksonville, it was pretty fucking bad. So,
I'm saying, man.
Yeah.
You can't have money. You can't be 20-some years old, black, and have money in Jacksonville, man. That's a toxic mix, man. That's you asking for it, man. So get that dude a flat jacket.
Not too much to do in Jacksonville either. There's only like 2 restaurants you can go to.
Yeah. There's 2 things to do in Jacksonville: eat and get cut.
Yeah, that's right.
All right. Next up, the Green Bay Packers selected Devontae Wyatt, defensive tackle out of University of Georgia at pick number 28. Okay, we already talked about the Packers. They picked a linebacker, didn't pick a wide receiver, but they had a second pick in their first round. And the Packers was like, okay, hold my beer. Watch this.
Yeah, double back.
You think Aaron Rodgers pissed now? Wait. You ain't seen nothing yet. Great pick. Devontae Wyatt was a great player, man. So they picked up 2 great players, man. But once again, same thing we said before, man. Rinse, repeat. They fucked Aaron Rodgers over.
Right.
All right. Lance, what are your thoughts, man?
Yeah, I agree, man. Ditto on that, man. Yeah, I don't know what they was thinking. They just gonna have to get it together. I know Aaron is looking for. I know he's looking for a ring and then call it quits because he wanted to call it quits this year. So they talking back to come back. Hopefully he'll have the inspiration to keep it forward and win a lot of games, get them back in the playoffs, and hopefully win it all. I really don't see the Packers beating up on a lot of teams like they did last year. They were beating them up and killing them because he can read. Aaron can read that defense really, really, really well. But their defense is good, and Devontae he'll be a good asset for that. Man. Their defense is on point. I got to give it to them. They always beat the shit out of us every year, so their defense always be on it, man.
All right. Now, Chris, I got a question for you, Chris.
Yeah.
Is it possible to feel sorry for a man that's making $50 million a year?
No, not now. I don't feel sorry for him. It's funny. Hey, this is a good pick for Jordan Love, though, because once he's in 2 years, he'll have a good defense.
Yeah. I mean, but think about it. Okay, you're Aaron Rodgers. You got that mega deal with State Farm. You're making State Farm money. You're making $50 million a year. You're banging Hollywood actresses. You're the host of Jeopardy. I mean, life can't be that bad,
Right.
It sounds shitty to him, though.
So what?
Skin wipe sucks.
What you say?
He always got something to bitch about though.
Yeah, I mean, come on, dude. Come on. You got the world at your feet, man. Come on. Just take this $50 and shut the fuck up. 50 million, should I say? Shut the fuck up. All right. Next up for the New England Patriots, they selected Cole Strange, guard out of Tennessee Chattanooga at number 29. This kind of came out of nowhere. Nobody was expecting this dude to go where he went. Um, but it's Bill Belichick, so I can't really question anything that Bill Belichick does. So I'm going to go ahead and say this is a good pick. Chris, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, typically the Patriots always suck in the draft. This is not a surprise. This guy will probably never hear from again, but he'll probably be a 10-year starter.
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know anything about Cole Strange, to be honest. So we'll see. But just knowing how the Patriots are, probably end up being pretty good.
No doubt. Lance?
Yeah, I get over that too. I think especially with, you talking about the Patriots, they always seem to get their guys where they need them. They always put them where they need them, and they always have a pretty good offensive line. I don't know what they was thinking about this year with the quarterback situation. I think they kind of played into their entire sync of what they had going. But if they can get a good quarterback, they should be all right. He fit right in. They'll get him to fit right in.
Absolutely. Next up, at number 30, Kansas City Chiefs. They selected George Karlaftis, edge rusher out of Purdue. Once again, like I said before, he's kind of like a Aiden Hutchinson type, one of those dudes who's like, just got a motor that never stops. And every team, like I said, every team needs, that grinded out white dude on the defensive line that's going to just raise havoc. So I think this is a good pick for the Chiefs. Because what they need is a defensive line that can rush the quarterback, since they play from ahead so much, and the team's always passing against them. So they constantly need a strong pass rush. So I think this is a solid pick for the Chiefs. Lance, talk to me.
Yeah. I think this guy right here is going to be pretty good. The Chiefs always had a pretty good defense. They skin teams up on defense, but then they run up the scoreboard on offense. So I think they can only get better. I think one of the things that the Chiefs needed to look at this year, one of the lessons learned they could look at is that there are some teams that can run up and down the field with them, running and gunning. I think that they thought that that was going to get them past a lot of teams, and it didn't. If they can keep what's name healthy, if they can keep their quarterback healthy, and they can keep their defense up, this guy right here he'll help them out. That's what I see. I don't see the Chiefs winning the Super Bowl again. I don't see that happening, but they will get far in the playoffs. I do see that.
Yep, I agree. Chris?
I think it was a great pick. I was actually surprised he fell as far as he did. Up to about like a month and a half ago, he was like a projected top 10, 15 player. AFC has got a bunch of good quarterbacks now. You got to have a guy like this to go get him. So great pick on there. Yeah, it's solid. Surprised they got him there.
All right, now next up, the Cincinnati Bengals selected Daxton Hill, safety out of Michigan, with the 31st pick. If anybody needs help in the defensive backfield, it is the Cincinnati Bengals. They lost the Super Bowl because they had Eli Apple at cornerback, and he got just ate up by what's his name?
Yeah.
Cooper Kupp ate his lunch. Odell Beckham Jr. probably would have won the MVP because he was just slicing them himself. So they really need help in the defensive backfield. But this is a terrible pick for them. I'm a huge Michigan fan. I watched every Michigan game last year. I got tired of seeing the back of Daxton Hill chasing people. You know what I mean? So he's really fast because he had to chase folks all the time, man. This dude played out of position so damn much, man. But he's really fast, so it kind of made up for his deficiencies when it comes to being in the right place at the right time. This dude is going to get beat to sleep in the pros, and he'll probably wind up being like a special teams dude because he takes way too many chances on defense, and he's not a good cover guy. So, like I said, I got to see the back of his jersey a lot. Chris, talk to me.
Yeah, I'm pretty much the same boat. I think it was the right position because Eli Apple's still there and he's still the main guy.
No, they cut him. They finally cut him.
Oh, they did.
Yeah, they cut him loose. They was like, "Fuck you,
Well,
get out."
they just
Yeah.
got another one. So I don't know. Yeah, like I said, I like the position. Maybe they could get something out of him, but just as he is right now, um, don't love it.
Lance.
Yeah, I see. I'm like you, Lonzo. I see them moving him. I see them. The coaches will pick up on it when they start spring training and whatnot. They'll pick up on that he ain't as quick, to catch somebody. He's got some quick feet, fast, but he can't read them. So they'll probably move him around. They'll probably put him in another position where he's more effective. Because it's that college versus pro. It's a big difference.
Yeah.
Big difference. And you see a lot of players come in. They get drafted as whatever. But then you see them again. They doing punt returns. They doing all kind of stuff, man. So I can see that happening, man.
Yep. And the final pick of the 2022 first round of the NFL draft at number 32, the Minnesota Vikings selected Lewis Seen, safety out of Georgia. Now, this is a great effing pick, and I'm going to tell you why. Of all the teams in the NFL, scheme wise, the Minnesota Vikings really know how to use their safeties. They're a hard hitting team. And I'm telling you right now, Lewis Seen is a great pick for them at safety. Downside is Lewis will probably be out of the league in 3 years because of concussions. Because dude hits hard. He lead with his head and he will light you the fuck up. I love that about him, but he gonna wind up with a broke neck and or so many concussions that he can't continue to play. So unless he changes, but you don't want to change that about him because he's such an aggressive player. But you want to try to rein that in so he don't kill himself. You know what I mean?
Right.
But he has the potential to either kill himself or kill somebody because he hit hard. He might be the dude that hits that dude from the Jets that I was talking about earlier and have him coughing up blood. So,
Right.
so Chris, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's a good pick. Him and they got Harrison Smith back there too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he'll be. I think he'll go right in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, hopefully he can make it keep the brain healthy enough to stay around for a while. But yeah, good pick for them.
So Lance, on a scale of 1 to 10,
defense is good.
I'm sorry, I mean to cut you off, man. Go ahead. What you say?
Anyone on that Georgia defense, to me, if you play on that team, it's a solid pick.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So Lance, on a scale of 1 to 10, what are the odds that Lewis Seen will be eating oatmeal out of a straw in about 3 years?
It's probably high. It's probably high that he keeps going at the pace that he's going. But I'm pretty sure these coaches going. Once the coaches get to him, they'll tell him, "Hey man, you're gonna have to ease up, unless you ain't gonna last long." But that's that NFL model. Not for long. So he gonna have to ease up a little bit. You have to save some of it. Don't give it all away the first 2 years. Save some. The veterans will get it right. They'll get it right. They should. They'll get it right.
I certainly hope so, man. I like this kid, man. I really like him, man. But I'm scared for him, though. I really am. So, all right. So that does it for the first round of the NFL draft. I think the number one thing that really kind of stood out that's been in the news the whole time is that University of Georgia had 5 defensive players from their national championship team go in the first round, which is the first time that's ever happened. So that really kind of shows you how good University of Georgia was last year. They had a team just stacked with pros. It was like an NFL team playing in college football, and that's why they dominated the league the way they did. And I'm still shocked they lost to Alabama when they did. That was a team that got complacent because it was beating the shit out of everybody. And I think losing to Alabama was the best thing that ever happened to them for that particular season, but because they came back with a vengeance, beat Michigan to death, and then of course beat Alabama to get revenge. So that says a lot about them as a program. And I also think that if you're a recruit, okay, and Kirby Smart calls you up and says, if you come play with us, I guarantee you'll get drafted in the first round. He can say that shit and mean it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So this draft is going to do wonders for recruiting at the University of Georgia. So I think that was the main takeaway for me from the NFL draft from the first round. Chris, what are your thoughts from the first round?
I thought it was good. It's awesome for Georgia. If you're a defensive player, there's nowhere else you want to be right now. just really like. It's just nice not seeing on running backs, receivers, and quarterbacks all in the first round. Like it was a lot of receivers, but just a lot of meat and potatoes players. I think are going to have really long careers. A lot of these players are going to be day one starters for teams, and that's what's awesome. There's not a lot of like guys that have to like come around, look back for a year, kind of get to do things. These guys are all going to jump in and play.
I agree.
I think good for the league. Bunch of young guys coming in. Again, good all around.
Lance, hit me.
Yeah, I think so too. It was nice to see these teams picking other than just quarterbacks like they did last year. It was just full of quarterbacks, and I guess everybody just said they just got together and said, hey, we need to start filling in some slots to help the team out from a different angle. I think they made the best choice possible that they could with the trade ups. Some of the teams traded up so they could get some of these guys. Overall, I think it was pretty good. And as long as they work with these guys, like I always say, those veterans come in and help those guys along with the coaches. I think they'll be okay. Even if the ones that we said that might be a bust or what have you, if they get behind the right veteran, they can do pretty good. They may not last long or what have you, but I think that they can still get something out of it. You're still a professional, so as long as you act professional, be professional. I think they'll be okay.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and run into the second round. Like I said before, for the rest of the rounds, whatever you're gonna talk about, one or two players from each round. Is there anybody in particular that you wanna point out, Lance, from the second round?
No, I don't. Actually, I'm gonna have to sign off here because I'm gonna have to get up early in the morning. I get up around about 2, so I'm gonna have to sign off. It was good for me to do this, and I'll be able to do it again. Hopefully, I'll be able to finish the next time. But I enjoyed it, man. I enjoyed both of you guys. And like I said, I have to get up by 2 in the morning to get to work. So I'm gonna go ahead and sign off at this time, and hopefully you invite me back so I'll be able to finish it up the next time.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Okay, no problem, man. All right.
Take it easy.
All right, all right.
Take it easy. All right.
All right, Chris. So it's just me and you. All right. So from the second round, is anybody in particular from the second round that you that stood out to you?
There's a couple guys. I like both the running backs came off. All the Jets. And he's at the Jets, so everything that goes with every player we've said about the Jets so far goes with him as well. I like Kenneth Walker at Seattle. I think he'll do pretty well over there. The receiver from Alabama, Mechie, whatever his name is, Houston. Shitty team, but I think he's a good player. Let's see. We'll see what Baby Cook can do with Buffalo.
Who's that?
Baby Cook.
Oh yeah. James Cook. Yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah. If I'm James Cook, I'm really happy. He
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because I don't think they don't have a dedicated 3-down back, so he'll definitely get some snaps.
Oh yeah. I can he's good in the passing game. I can see them putting him in a slot up against a linebacker. So I can really see them utilizing him in a lot of different ways. So I think that's a great pick. I think Kenneth Walker going to Seattle is a good pick as well because Seattle's always had a strong punishing type back. So I can see him kind of fitting in with Seattle. I like John Mechie, like you said before, going to Houston. It's too bad they don't have a quarterback to throw it to him. But the one player that stood out the most for me was David Ojabo, out of Michigan, going to the Baltimore Ravens. He was the guy, of course. He was a projected top 15 pick who tore his tore his Achilles at his pro day. So he's gonna most likely redshirt this year. But I think if he can come back from that Achilles, Baltimore got a first round talent in the second round. So I think that was a great pick for them as well. So
I think if Pickens can stay healthy, he can do something in Pittsburgh too.
Yeah, absolutely. I think George Pickens going to Pittsburgh out of Georgia is really good. The Packers finally picked a wide receiver, Christian Watson out of North Dakota State.
Yeah.
I don't know much about him, so
He's one of those North Dakota guys that I don't trust any of them. I mean, well, we got Carson Wentz
Yeah.
or Wentz, however you want to call him, bust. Trey Lance, no one knows. It doesn't seem like, I don't know. There's something's going on with him because they have not committed to Jimmy G or him.
No.
And he's supposed to be out of the future. So for now, he goes into my North Dakota State territory. We'll see. Probably not.
I feel you on that, man. Anybody else in round two that you want to talk about that you?
Falcons finally got some defensive guys. I think that guy from Penn State's pretty good. I know they targeted him for a while.
Mm-hmm.
At least they made a smart pick for once.
You talking about Brisker?
No, Arnold, PSU.
Okay. It
I didn't want to butcher it.
yeah, him. Yeah. Could be a solid pick. Yeah, could be a solid pick. So not bad at all. All right, we'll go ahead and move into the third round. Let's see. There were some picks in the third round that really stood out to me. Let's see here. Desmond Ridder, quarterback, at number 10, the third round, going to the Atlanta Falcons. I like this pick. I think them having Marcus Mariota, he's the same type of kind of cut from that same type of cloth. So I think we might see him play this year because the offense is going to be geared towards that kind of run RPO type quarterback. I always like everything I saw out of Desmond. He has a strong arm. I think the problem with him is a lot of people say that he's not accurate. So if they can kind of work that out, there's some potential there for him. So what are your thoughts about the Falcons and Desmond Ridder?
I mean, I'm not expecting. He's definitely going to be a work in progress. Me personally, I wanted Matt Corral, but I think they're both kind of similar guys. Neither one of them are going to come in and be immediate. The Falcons have got to get in tank mode.
Yeah.
So if we can start next year with like a top 5 pick and Ritter, and then we can bring another guy in to compete with him, I think it'll work out. Nothing really. He did fine in college. I don't know if he's ready for. He's definitely not ready for pros. I don't know. He's definitely not. Can he get there? I don't know. I don't hate the pick at all, though. I mean, what else are we gonna do? We got Marcus Mariota. He's not gonna be the guy. So we got to at least try something.
Hey man, the Falcons are gonna have the number 1 pick next year, man, because they're gonna be the worst team in the league, man. No defense.
Well, then we'll probably take Bryce Young and he'll get fucking smashed week 1.
No doubt. Now another pick that stood out, probably the most head scratching pick, was the Philadelphia Eagles selecting Nakobe Dean, 19 in the third round. How he fell this far is beyond me. I think they were talking about him having an upper body injury that kind of scared teams off, which is, I mean, it's not like his knees or his ankles. It's, I think it was a torn pec.
It was a pec, yeah. I don't think he's gotten a surgery yet. I think that's what people were kind of worried because I guess they wanted to do it beforehand. But yeah, I mean, he was supposed to be like a first round pick.
Yeah, he won the freaking Butkus Award, man. So.
Yeah, so I mean, over like a pec, dude. Yeah, go get some surgery. Take 6 months off. He's gonna be a solid starter. So who gives a shit?
Yeah, because I don't think a torn pec is gonna, no. Like I said, if it was a knee or ankle or Achilles, I get it. But a torn pec?
Yeah, no, that's not career ending.
No.
He'll be fine. Yeah.
So that was a head scratcher for me. I think the fact that he's he's small, kind of smallish for a linebacker, put him at safety then. He's fast enough. You know what I mean?
I mean, he'll definitely get out. Once he gets healthy, he'll be on the field 100%.
Yeah.
That was a steal.
Yeah, I don't really understand him falling, but okay. Also, Malik Willis. He was many folks projecting him going in the first round, and maybe a lot of folks projecting him being the very first quarterback come off the board. He winds up falling all the way to the 86th pick by the Tennessee Titans at 22 in the third round. I think this is a solid pick. I think they can develop him so in about 2 or 3 years after Tannehill is gone, he can take over. So if he's as good as everybody says his potential is, then this could be a really strong pick for the Titans as they like to move away from Tannehill. So what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean it's pretty telling how they think about Tannehill. Also, they're definitely not about to lock him down for another 5 years or anything like that. So yeah, I mean Willis Mills is definitely raw, but he's got talent. It's definitely there. I think the only like decent team he played last year was Mississippi State, and he got pretty waxed. So he's definitely needs some work. But I mean, you can just look at his tape. He's got all the talent in the world.
Oh yeah.
It's a good spot for him. As long as he can improve, that job is his in a couple of years for sure.
And a lot of folks seem to forget that he played at Auburn, so he definitely was a D1 talent. So it's not like he's some guy who just came out of nowhere.
He just got to put it all together.
Yeah.
And with him, that's a good place to sit. Tannehill's not great, but he's not bad.
Yeah, this is a good guy to sit behind. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Absolutely. Your boy Matt Corral went at number 30 in the third round to the Carolina Panthers. So he could come back to haunt the Falcons. What are your thoughts?
It pissed me off. I don't know. I don't really think it matters. I think they're gonna throw. Yeah, I mean it's a good pick for them. I think. I'm a little biased on Matt Corral, I guess. I just want to say Matty because I already had a nickname for him. Matty Fire instead of Matty Ice.
That's right. Yeah, that would have been a good one. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I think he's gonna get cut probably next year because their coach is gonna get fired. They're gonna suck this year.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
They'll bring in a new coach, new GM, and they'll clean house and get a new quarterback anyway.
So he could still wind up in a Falcon uniform. You never know. All right, and there was one more that I want to talk about in the third round, going to Miami, Channing Tindall. Tindall was one of those guys, man. I'm shocked he fell this far, man. Even though it's the third round, I'm shocked, man, because he was one of those dudes, man, with the Georgia defense, who was always in the backfield, always making big hits, and having the Kobe and having those guys on the defensive line really open up the rushing lanes for him. He really did a good job at getting at the quarterback and putting pressure. And I think if y'all do the same thing with them, because the Dolphins have a solid defense.
They got a real good defense. Yeah. So he's pretty much going to the same situation.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's great for him. He's gonna fit right in. Like nothing's gonna change for him at all.
Right. The Dolphins have they got a pretty solid defensive line, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Defensive line is just okay. Everything else, I think they'll probably put him on the edge, try to get him to come in a little bit. Kind of like a 3-4 linebacker almost. But yeah, he'll definitely.
Yeah, because the Dolphins are my dark horse pick this year to really have a good season. Yeah. So.
I mean, they got Tyreek Hill for the first round pick.
Yeah.
Can't go wrong with that.
So it's all about Tua, man. If Tua can give him something, man.
Seems like that coach. I mean, he came in open arms. They seem like they got a good thing going on. We'll see though. If he sucks, he sucks. I can't even think about that.
It's gonna be an interesting year, for the Dolphins this year. Really interesting. So it'll be. Plus, I think it's the 50th anniversary of the 72 team. So.
Yeah.
So we might have something, something going on there with all that and everything, but a lot of hoopla around the team next year. So we'll see.
Sure.
Yeah.
We were really excited.
Should be. Okay, now pushing into the fourth round. Was there anybody else you want to talk about before we?
Got Zamir White over at the Raiders. It's not too bad.
Yeah. Zamir.
You can take the load off of what's his name?
Josh Jacobs.
So, yeah.
They declined Josh Jacobs' 5th-year option. So.
Not surprising. They haven't really committed to him fully, and I don't know. He's real streaky. He's up and down.
Yeah. Plus, he got injured a lot over the last couple of years as well. So. I think Zamir is a good pickup. Solid player, obviously. He's not going to run away from anybody, but he's the type of dude, get you 3 or 4 yards and be a solid pickup as far as picking up the blitz and things of that nature. He showed that he has, he has NFL talent, so I think that was a good pick for them. Let's see what else. Who else here?
Winfrey. Defensive line from Oklahoma, from the Browns. I think he could be pretty good.
Yeah, Perrion Winfrey. Yeah, that's a good pick. Oklahoma always has, especially when it comes to the defensive line, they usually have pretty good players.
Yeah.
So I think this is a good pickup for the Cleveland Browns. And obviously they have a pretty stout defense already. So adding him to the same line with what's his name? What's the dude's name? Him. What is his
Miles
name?
Garrett. Miles
Huh?
Garrett.
Miles Garrett. Yeah, Miles Garrett. So
Yeah.
I think that's a solid pickup for them. Fun fact, something I didn't realize until today. Texas didn't have anybody drafted.
Oh wow.
Yeah, yeah. That shocked me. That shocked me. You know,
Wow.
Oklahoma had a lot of
Man,
guys get picked, and Texas zero.
that franchise, that whole school just lost it all.
And they're coming to the SEC. Bless your hearts.
Just to get beat up.
Yeah, yeah. You get beat to sleep.
Yeah.
So that's going to be scary. Um, interesting pick. The New England Patriots picked Bailey Zapp, a quarterback out of Western Kentucky. Why waste a pick on a quarterback, especially in the fourth round, when you have Mac Jones and you got what's his name backing him up, Hoyer. I think this is just a throwaway pick. I don't understand that one at all. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense unless someone's not liking what they see from Mac Jones. I don't get it. I mean, it's a fourth round pick, but still, you can find someone better than just maybe a backup quarterback.
Yeah, like I say,
I could be really drafting a backup quarterback in the fourth.
yeah. Is he going to even make the team? I mean, why?
Yeah.
You put him on the practice squad. You gonna pick a guy in the fourth round for the practice squad? Could have got him in the seventh round. Nobody was gonna
Right.
pick Bailey
Yeah.
Zapp. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't get that at all. Um, all right, pushing into the fifth round. The number one pick in the fifth round was Sam Howell, quarterback out of North Carolina. Going into the season, a lot of folks said Sam Howell was going to be the number one quarterback taken. So he fell all the way to the fifth round. I saw a lot of his work at Carolina. He's one of those plucky guys who I think will be a solid spot starter in the league and probably be a good backup. He could potentially be someone who might catch fire and be a solid starting quarterback for a team. Maybe like a Tony Romo type, somebody who kind of comes out of nowhere and
Yeah.
so. And going to the Washington Commanders, a team who's going to need a quarterback after Carson Wentz gets cut, I think it's a good place for him. What are your thoughts on him?
Yeah, that's a great landing spot for him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when you watch him, he looks like a pro. He just doesn't produce like a pro. I'm pretty sure he was one of those guys who was like at the demanding quarterback camps and all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So he knows how to be a professional quarterback. It's just can he put it all together? Definitely. I mean, that job's his to take. It's not like he's got someone that's a guaranteed starter there. If he would have won the first round, I would have said immediate bust. But at the fifth round, that's a good pick.
Yeah, because we already know that Carson Wentz is going to suck. So
Yeah.
that dude's career went down the freaking tube. Anybody else in the fifth round that kind of stands out to you?
No, I don't see anything big.
Yeah, there's nobody else that really kind of stood out to me either, man. Some solid picks, but nothing that really kind of blew my.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's take a look at 6 real fast here and see what we got. Tyler Beatty, running back out of Missouri, went to the Baltimore Ravens. I was shocked at this one. Tyler, he's one of those guys, man. Every time I saw Missouri play, he's one of those dudes always going to, getting you 5, 6, 7 yards and making people miss and always, kind of doing something positive. I like dudes like that. Every time you see them, they're really putting in work. So
Right.
that might be a solid. And a team like the Baltimore Ravens, who run a lot, and they shuffle in running backs and everything, he might be a good pick for them. What are your thoughts on him?
Yeah, he fits the Ravens scheme. That's what they do. They want downhill runners to come in and get you 5 and get out.
Yep.
And
Exactly.
so he's perfect for them. They got the number 1 pick, the Buffalo Bills, the punt god. I don't know if you've ever seen his film.
Yeah. I heard about him. So
Yeah.
tell me about him.
he hits like 65-yard bombs on the regular. And they call him the punt god. Weird they went to Buffalo because you can't really punt there.
Yeah, forty mile per hour headwind.
Yeah, I knew he was gonna get drafted. I figured he was gonna get drafted. I was wondering who was gonna take him, so he might get him a ring.
Well, he's not gonna have to punt much in Buffalo anyway because the Bills are gonna score 40 points a game. So
Yeah, but at least they can now.
yeah, yeah. So he might, they might need him on the road. You know what I mean? Because like I said, he won't be able to punt well, he can punt in Buffalo. When they got the wind at his back. So every other quarter. Cade Mays, guard out of Tennessee. He was the guy who was at Georgia, and they had this big controversy as far as eligibility and that kind of stuff. So
That's what I was trying to figure out how I knew that guy.
yeah, that was the guy. So he got drafted. So good on him. Good to see that. Anybody else? Darion Kendrick, cornerback out of Georgia, got picked. He's the guy who transferred from Clemson. He was a starter at Clemson, started at Georgia. So there's definitely some talent there. He was another dude who took a lot of chances, saw the back of his jersey a lot, but Lewis Singh cleaned up a lot of his mess for Georgia. So, there's something there, but they coach him up. He went to the Rams, so it could be a good landing spot for him with the Rams. What are your thoughts on? Any thoughts about him?
I mean, yeah, he's got I'm sure he could get in there, be at least a special teams player.
Yeah. And see here, and the final round, round 7. Let's see what we got here. Oh, the number 1 pick in round 7 in the draft. Oh, this is a first. This is something unexpected. Going first to the Jacksonville Jaguars in the 7th round, Jake Fromm. First dude to get drafted twice. I'm sorry, man. I had to take one more shot at Jake, at old Shaky Jake, man. So.
Oh, good. I'm here for it.
Let's see here. Anything that really stands out? Anything for you, man? Nothing for me that really stands out.
Nothing much.
Except for Mr. Irrelevant.
Yeah. I thought Brock Purdy was an interesting choice.
Yeah. I thought he'd go a little bit higher than that. I saw good things out of Brock.
Yeah,
so.
I'm surprised he was the last pick in the draft. I knew he wasn't going to be, high on anyone's board or anything, but he was good enough.
Yeah. I can see him maybe like being like a Taysom Hill type person. They might, use him in a lot of different ways.
Yeah.
That type of guy. He has that kind of, stick his head into the dirt type, mentality. So there could be a place for him in the league. So, and he's going to San Francisco because, like I said, with Trey Lance, they don't know what's going to happen with him. So, who knows? He might be a guy that
Shot.
yeah, kind of sneaks up and does some things. So that does it for the 2022 draft. Takeaways. Once again, like I said before, Georgia had I think a total of like 15 players drafted or something like that. They set a record for the most players drafted from one school in a draft, in the modern draft. So that's really good to see. I see once again it was a defensive heavy draft, so a lot of good defensive players. So that kind of shows you the way the league is going. Defense is at such a premium because of the rules in the NFL now really favor the offenses. So you can never have enough defense. So that's really, that's really good to see that teams are really trying to stem the tide when it comes to all this crazy scoring and everything. So what's your major takeaway?
My biggest takeaway is it's a shame that we have the New York Jets because they got a lot of talent, and now they're all going to go to waste because the Jets are the Jets.
Yeah. Shame. It's a shame, man. And
Yeah.
and I mean, and they're in the worst freaking division, man. You got Buffalo, New England, and Miami, all teams that are up in. You got the prohibitive NFL Super Bowl favorite.
Yeah.
You got the Patriots, always good. You got the Dolphins, who I think is going to be the sneaky team, and then you got the Jets. Getting beat to sleep every week.
Yeah. Jets.
Yeah. kind of shameful, man. Kind of shameful. So, anything else that you take away from this draft, man? Anybody that you think is really gonna?
I'm ready for that. I'm ready for the season. I think all these guys are gonna be day one starters, and that's always nice.
Well, I definitely agree with that as well. So now's the time, man, for our picks. I promise you, one thing I'm not going to do this year, I'm not picking the Arizona Cardinals for anything, ever. I did it twice. I'm not doing it again, man. I've learned my lesson. I've kind of given away my first choice, of course, Buffalo Bills. I think the Buffalo Bills are really primed and ready. They're all set up to dominate the AFC, and if they don't, I think it'll be because of injuries. In the NFC, man, I'm thinking about the NFC for a while, man. Like I said, I'm not going to pick the Cardinals again. The NFC is wide open.
It really is, though.
Yeah.
Like, it's really hard to put someone that this is the team I want to win. Because I don't know. That's like no one stands out.
Right, and I really don't think the Rams are going to repeat because it's just so hard to repeat if nothing else. Plus, they're in L.A. You know, you won a Super Bowl, you're in L.A., money, fame, women, that team, nah.
That Super Bowl hangover is going to be twice as strong.
Yeah. You know, if they was like still in St. Louis, the St. Louis Rams, I'd give them a shot. But being in L.A., man, there's too many things to distract you.
Yeah.
You know, because everybody loves a winner, especially in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
You know, so there's just too many models and actresses out there for them to bang. So that being said, man, I gotta pick a dark horse. I'm gonna pick a dark horse this year, and my dark horse team this year, because last year the Bengals came out of nowhere and went to the Super Bowl. My team to come out of nowhere and play in the Super Bowl against the Buffalo Bills will be Philadelphia Eagles.
Oh. The Eagles.
Yes.
Okay.
You didn't see that one coming, did you?
No, can't say I did.
Who you got, man? Who you got?
All right, I think just like everyone else in the world, the Buffalo Bills, of course. They should have. I think if they would have been in the Super Bowl last year, I think it would have been theirs.
Yeah.
Like, they changed the overtime rule for them. What else can you say? Like, the Buffalo Bills are ready to go right now.
Yep.
I think I'm gonna go with you. Kind of. I don't want to say the Bucks. I don't want to say the Rams. I'm gonna say Russell Wilson gets back to the Super Bowl.
Wait, how's that?
Oh,
The Broncos in the AFC, man.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I know, man. It's tough, man. The AFC is tough. It's tough.
Oh, okay. I don't like this. I don't like the 49ers. They ain't got the quarterback's not figured out.
Nope.
Cowboys not falling that trap.
Nope. It is really hard, man.
Don't trust the Packers.
Nope. No wide receivers, man.
Yeah.
So it's not just me, man. I told you, man. This was a hard, man. This is hard.
Okay, I think.
Don't say the Cardinals, man. I'm gonna give you a hard time. You say the Cardinals.
No. I'm gonna say the New Orleans Saints.
Okay. Got the defense.
Yeah.
They shut out the Packers. I mean, they shut out the Buccaneers last year.
They got the Bucks numbers. I don't think Brady's beaten once yet.
That is a good pick, man. That's a good pick. Jameis Winston.
Yeah. He's good. The legs, the rubber leg. Yeah.
Good pick, man. I like that. I think you're on to something, man. So the Saints and the Bills in the Super Bowl. Who you picking to win the Super Bowl?
Bills.
Bills, yeah. I think that's the odds on favorite.
If the Saints get in there, the Bills is game over.
Yeah. And where's it going to be this year? Do you know where?
Not sure.
Yeah, I don't know either. Okay, all right. Now since you picked New Orleans out of the NFC, and I picked the Eagles out of the NFC. You know what that means, right?
What's that?
The Cardinals are going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
the moment I don't pick them.
Murray, MVP, undefeated.
Yeah. Well, DeAndre Hopkins just got suspended, so.
You're not gonna believe this.
What?
Guess where the Super Bowl is?
Where? Arizona?
Arizona.
It's perfect, man. It's perfect. Okay, because they don't get the kiss of death from me, man. So if we're both wrong about this, man, the Cardinals wind up in the Super Bowl, man. We'll do a pre-Super Bowl show to where I'll eat crow.
All right. Okay.
All right, man. Any parting shots, man, before we get out of here?
You know, just another year, another disappointment from the Falcons. But what can you say, man?
Yep.
Glad football's back, though. Not always nice to get talking about it.
Absolutely, man. Once again, for the third year in a row, I appreciate you taking time out with me to do the recap, man. And hopefully I'll see you again next year. And
Sure.
thank you so much. And everybody there listening, thank you for your time. Please subscribe. And we'll catch you in February when Chris and I get together to lick our wounds because the undefeated Cardinals are in the Super Bowl.
It's going to happen, though.
No doubt. Thanks so much for your time, dude.
All right, man.
All right, we'll see you next time.
See you.
All right.